Now, for those of you who are introverted, I'd like to say, I apologize if I talked about joy in terms of jumping around and things like that. And, that's kind of more of an extroverted thing. And I'd like to say, it's actually just a positive feeling. It can be just a quiet inner joy or just the desire to be there. And if you can really tell that someone really wants to be there, they can be the most quiet person in the world. And you might not see anything external, but it just really comes through. And there's nothing as powerful as having someone there that wants to be there. And we've seen these people who are like really enthusiastic, but they still are a burden to everyone. So it's not the external thing. It's just a genuine desire. There's some people who are just enthusiastic and they actually distract you from actually doing work. If you have people who really want to do something, then something gets done. And not that it's about getting things done, but it's about the feeling of getting things done together, where you feel really good about being there. And so I just want to make sure this is not about positivity. Positivity can be an expectation. I think nowadays there's a lot about positivity, be positive. And I feel like actually that does a lot of harm, or can do a lot of harm. And I think it's oftentimes misunderstood. It's not like being positive that really matters. It's actually when your needs are met. There's a genuine kind of positivity that just comes. And it's authentic. It's not this fake kind of positivity of someone just being enthusiastic that's inappropriate to the moment. If it's a genuine kind of positivity, it meets the other person. And if it's a strategic kind of positivity, this person will be so enthusiastic to try and make the other person enthusiastic, but it's passive aggressive actually. And that's never really worked, because I've seen parents try and be enthusiastic with their kids, and the kid shuts down because the parent is more enthusiastic about something than the kid, and the kid can own it as their own, and they're not feeling it. Or they may be feeling embarrassed or things like that. But when a kid actually does something and the parents are appropriately enthusiastic, we say, oh, that's really cool. It doesn't need to be like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Oftentimes it's actually a turnoff for the kid. Now, if you have an enthusiastic kid and the kid's being that enthusiastic, then you got to be jumping together, right? But if the kid's like, yeah, I did that. I was like, hey, that's really cool. Right? It's kind of like there's a genuineness, and you feel that. And don't make this a strategy either. This becomes like I've seen these mirroring tools where say match the other person's energy, and that's good, but it's a genuineness. Like if the kid comes and says, like, hey, like, Dad, I did this, and you're like, wow, that's like really awesome, and it's like genuine. That's okay, actually. It's that genuineness that really that connects people, and it's actually connected to the need. And the kid can see that even though it didn't meet their own expectations of what they thought it was going to be, that it actually brought you joy. In that case, your higher enthusiasm works. But if it's contrived and it's coming from a technique where you're trying to get a certain kind of result, oftentimes it will backfire. And I feel like people are wondering, why doesn't this work? And I'd like to say this is the reason why it works, because you're not connecting to genuine needs. And your child cannot feel your need. And so if they can't feel your need, then they'll feel your head, like your brain. They'll feel like, oh, this person is trying to bring positivity to me. This is a should, but for some reason I can't respond. Now, if you have someone who responds well to expectations, then they will also have that fake enthusiasm. And then sometimes when you fake it, you make it. And so I'm not saying it doesn't work 100% of the time, but if you look at when it doesn't meet, it's because you didn't connect genuinely through the needs, through something authentic. And so this is one of the reasons why I feel like finding that authenticity actually just means that you're really honest about your needs, and you can honestly recognize someone else's needs. And I feel like this is why this is such an important subject, because it brings us back to nature, because we're connected to nature through our needs. And so if we lose connection to our needs, then we lose connection to everything that's around us, anything that's alive. And so And the only thing we get to focus on is controlling things and making things happen. And all of a sudden, we keep making things, and all the things we make are for our needs, but we're so disconnected, so we keep making the wrong thing. And I think that's pretty sad. All that effort that we put into life, we keep creating the wrong things. And isn't that a very common experience that we actually have? We work so hard to do something, in our careers or with our families. And then we try and create better relationships. We read books and all of that. And then we learn these techniques. And these techniques apparently are supposed to help us. And some of them work. Why? Because it happened to be matching the need at hand. But because we don't have this concept of needs, we are looking for something that will work all the time. And it's kind of interesting because I've seen many different people use different communication methods: active listening, mirroring, and they're actually all genuine. But I'd like to say this: unless you're connecting to the other person's needs, they're not effective. And I see that two people are talking and they're mirroring back what the other person is saying, and it's not helping. They're not feeling connected. And it's better than not. It is a lot better. And actually, oftentimes, if you really try and do it, you tend to connect to each other's needs. But I've also seen it really be a hit and miss, especially when the people perceive their needs were at odds. One person, let's say for instance, messy. One person is, very organized, and they're trying to have a conversation about this. They're coming at this as if they're at odds. And so they're mirroring, but they're not connecting. But, here's the interesting thing. They both have the need to connect with each other. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking. They both have the need to get along well with each other. They both have a need for ease of life. One finds ease of life by being, less messy. One person has ease of life by being more organized. They're common needs, right? And so when two people say, so, hey, what's your need here when you're not organizing things and taking care of the dishes and things like that? And I was like, oh, well, I just like to chill, chilling. Okay. And then the person says, that makes sense. So I didn't realize this, that you have the ability to chill first. In my case, if I try and chill before the dishes are organized, I find that I keep thinking about it, so I can't chill. So how do you do it? And the person goes, oh, wow, that's what goes on for you. In my case, I actually try and chill so that I can get some energy so I can do the dishes. I find it amazing that you can actually just do the dishes without chilling first. So for you, you can't rest until you actually get it cleaned. It's yeah. And so people are now starting to connect. They're actually really and they're connecting not through the chilling. They're actually connecting to the need to connect, the need to understand each other, because those are common needs. And what I'd like to say is that there are no conflicting needs, only conflicting strategies. And so these tools are strategies on how to meet needs. And if you use the wrong strategy, that's terrible, right? If you use a wrong strategy, then you will put your needs at odds. So it's the strategies that put the needs at odds. So needs are common to all. You're hungry, I'm hungry, I have a need to connect, you have a need to connect. These are all common. These are needs common to all. But we have different strategies depending on our different makeup that tries to meet them. Say, for instance, this person who is less organized, they're trying to get energy so they can organize. This person is trying to chill so that they can actually, this person is trying to organize so they can chill. They both have the need to organize and chill, and they both have the need to organize and chill, but the sequence is reversed because of the sequence of needs I was talking about before. This is kind of a more concrete example of why we're not being able to come together and actually make things work. Because it was never about the tools. It was never about the strategy, it was always about the need.